Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Hearthcenter, Tuesday night or evening show, bringing you some of the hottest matches in THL, a recap of what happened last week. I am one of your hosts for tonight, Lotus Knight, and I am joined by the best panel THL has to offer. We have to my left side, my top left side, we have been here the whole time in the show this season, no misses yet, the one and only Super Chicken. Chicken, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. Yeah. Been been pretty fun, catching up on things every week.
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun. I think this was quite a season of THL.
Mhm.
Um, he was here last week. He is here this week again. The best accent in THL according to recent polls. That did not happen. We have the one and only Rebobson. Rebob, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastically. Thank you. Getting late, but thank you for having the show early just for me.
Oh, it's not just for you. I am so thankful that we do it early because it is already 10:08 my time, so it definitely helps for me.
It's 1:08 my time, so I'm going to bed after this.
Nice. Um, our two other hosts here tonight just having their first Heart Center show. We have the one and only Gamer Dude directly from Justin Land. Gamer Dude, I believe he wrote a short description of himself, which I'll read to everyone. He is the heart and soul of the Carlton Ravens. Also, will carry the teams in OPSE. I do not know what that is, but how are you doing, gamer dude? Welcome.
I'm doing well. I definitely didn't write that, but I appreciate the kind words either way. And it's 100% accurate, that statement. So happy to
Nice.
be here, though.
Oh, it's great having you. And last but certainly not least, to complete our team of animals here, we have the one and only Turtle, who's been in I don't even know which shows or which teams by this point. How long have you been in THL, Turtle? I'm curious.
I think 4 seasons now. It's not the longest, but I try to get involved where I can.
Oh yeah, I've seen you around basically everywhere at this point, and it's great to have you here joining us for the first time.
Yeah, it's gonna be a ton of fun to talk about Hearthstone, and now I'm doing even better now that Chick and I have our matching hats on.
Nice. That's awesome. We have a lot to do, so I'm going to hop us straight in. We're going to start by doing Player of the Week. Then we're going to go into Hero and we're going to go into Hero Series where we'll look into everything that's going on in Hero. So we're going to talk about a few matches, 3 matches for the week. We're going to talk about the conferences, what teams are making it. We will give our opinions, even though we don't speculate here. We will give our opinion on what is going to happen this week because playoffs are incoming for all series. And then we're going to do PPR. This is the second to last PPR, so if you want to end first, Rebob, this is your final chance to stick it in. And just that
Great.
said, we have quite a lot to talk about. We're going to do Hero, then Legacy, and then Pro. So to start, let's do Player of the Week. And we're going to start with our Hero Player of the Week. So, Rebob, who is our Hero Player of the Week?
So, first up in here, player of the week is Lupin. Don't know how French they want to make it. But as we head in the final week, Golden Wisps are standing head and tall above every other team, boasting 160 points already. Lupin has very much been the anchor of that, 8-0 in the 5 seed for his rookie season. And last week, he pitched in a nice 3-1 win to assist in the sweep that locked up the first playoff seed in Purple Conference with a week to spare. He has been absolutely crushing it.
Yeah. After the Netflix deal, you have to be doing amazing in THL as well.
Lupin is a great show for anyone who hasn't watched it.
Yes.
Highly recommend it, but watch it in French. Don't watch the horrendous voice acting in the dubbed version.
True. Now to tell us what is going on in Legacy, Gamer Dude, can you tell us who actually made Player of the Week in Legacy?
Yeah, so the legacy player of the week is Swebe. So down a quick 2-0-2 in their series and ready to be swept. Swebe never surrendered. Already coming off a huge win last week, she persevered and reverse swept another strong 5 seed. Swebe is becoming a force to be reckoned with. Pod people are highly improved this season in large part due to her continued excellence in the 5 seed. Watch out, legacy playoffs, a new 5 seed sheriff is in town.
Congratulations, Suebe. Amazing result in the 5. Just really solid. And Turtle, do you want to tell us who's our final player winning the Pro Player of the Week?
Yeah, for our Pro Series, we've got obviously winning Player of the Week. Starting off, Avi had a pretty rough start to the season. He was 0-4 at the beginning, but he's finally found his footing, got his creative decks flowing. Well, Avi's known best for his genius deck building is picked back up, and now he has his first win for their team, carrying them with a 3-0 sweep. This now is his third win in a row, and he did it with Guardian Animals Druid, Death Rattle Priest, Big Hunter, and Evolve Shaman. Hardly decks that anyone say are dominating the meta right now.
True.
Their literary 8 mascot could not have written a better comeback story than what Avi has seen this season in Pro.
That's true. And congratulations, Avi, on winning Player of the Week. Um, this is awesome so far. We have quite the squad here getting Player of the Week. Anyone want to give any comments to these before we hop right into Hero Series?
Yeah, cool to see Lupin get a Player of the Week. I don't think he's been. I don't think he's been nominated yet so far, despite having a pretty absurd season. So it is cool to see him get the recognition in the Player of the Week category as well.
Now, let's move right into Hero. We're going to start looking at our first match. We'll switch the order a bit because realize that talking about the lineup of how teams are standing makes a lot more sense after we go over the match. So, Rebob, why don't you tell us about our first match? We have APN Yin facing your team, F12 Black.
Yeah. So first up, it was it was about as close as a match could be. It wound up being a 13-13 tie,
Wow.
though we had 2 subs in for the week. We had Totino's Pizza, my legacy 5 seed, filling in for Chewbacca for the rest of the season, and Righteous Jammies was filling in in the 4 seed. Both of those players did lose, but they put in valiant efforts and got us just enough points to get the tie.
Nice.
Totino's lost 3-2 to Snipe Hunter, who was having another fantastic season, and Jammies lost 3-1 to Trido 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then the rest of the results in the 1 seed, Neji lost again. So as Neji's subbing out for the Masters Tour this weekend, that brings Neji's regular season to around 0% win rate. So
Wow.
shout outs to Neji. Lost 3-2 to J Rich. In the 2 seed, I beat Vino Spumoni 3-1. And Itachi swept JR Juggalo 3-0 in the 3 seed. So both got that 1 bonus point, but both of us would really have liked the extra 2 points from the win. But I think F2L Black still in. Well, it's entirely in our own hands, which is what you want going into the last week.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the season's kind of tailed off a bit after quite a strong start, which is not what you want to see.
That's true. Chicken, do you have any comments on APM Yin versus F2L Black?
Yeah, these are these are both teams that are definitely fighting for playoff spots right now. It is kind of odd to see. I'm not really sure what the circumstances were, but it is kind of odd to see a team have to sub out two players in such a crucial week. Um, and yeah, but neither of them were able to get a win for F2L Black, so de- definitely seemed like it hurt them a bit there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and but as for APM Yin, it seems like, I mean, 14 points is good enough for them. I think this makes it fairly comfortable for them in their playoff spot.
True.
Being Yeah, having a decent gap between some of the other teams in their conference. But yeah, for F2L Black, it's still not very secure for them at all.
Mm-hmm.
So they are probably gonna need to pick up a win next week since they didn't get one here.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible showing from F2L Black, playing against one of the higher seeded or the higher teams in the standings from their conference. But yeah, I mean, they did kind of, or they definitely would have liked to have gotten a win here, maybe even just that one extra point to give them the 3 points for the win.
That's true.
Yeah. What we've learned is teams with 4 players don't tend to do as well.
True.
That's
Sorry,
fair.
edgy.
Yeah,
Um,
my hero team would agree.
now that said, I will open to Turtle and Gamer Dude. Anything you want to add before we go into our final, or not our final, our second hero match?
Um, it's just kind of sad that Neji wasn't able to get that last win. He was so close, bringing it all the way to Game 5, but not quite able to get that win. And yeah, as Rebub
I,
said, with that Master Tour coming up, it's going to be his last week. So sad to see
I,
that
I think
happen.
I think 6 of the 8 losses have been 3-2s as well.
Ugh,
That's brutal for
He
Neji.
gets to Game 5 every single time, and then he loses.
Crazy that a player of Neji's skill is going 0-8. Just proves how good THL is if that's happening.
true. Well, I will keep us moving to our second match so we don't end too late. Our second match here is going to be No Pros here facing against Make a 5 seed out of a Molehill. Both top teams in Teal Conference. And Chicken, how did this match go?
Yeah, so this match started off with, I believe, Kitten taking the win over Clarity in the 5 seed. Um, and then yeah, CMAC, or sorry, Skirt and Nine, who have been kind of our most consistent players this season, actually lost both of their matches against against arguably the best seeds from NPH, as well as, your Mount Kid and Pascar having pretty incredible seasons themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we were down by 3 points, I think. Or maybe I'm mistaken. No, I think we were down by 2 points going into the last two matches. So CMAC and I needed to pick up, I think, I don't know what it actually, like, I had to sweep and then he could lose 3-2 or something like that. But I
Mm-hmm.
won my match 3-2 first. So
Sure.
it was, I believe, dead even. So CMAC just had to win and was not able to close it out, unfortunately for us, fortunately for NPH.
Fair.
But yeah, incredibly close series. Really, I mean, literally came down to the fifth game of the fifth match.
That's so
You love to
tight.
see it.
Um, I want to ask Gamer Dude, do you have any thoughts on NPH versus Make a 5 seed out of Molehill?
Yeah, I mean, just a pretty close series overall. I think you hate to lose, but when you're getting 13 points in a loss, it's pretty obvious that that series could have went either way. So, as Chicken mentioned, the two players kind of carry them. Taking losses this week is a big blow, but they ran into a pretty strong side in NPH who are having a pretty good season. So, can't be too disappointed
True.
with the result.
Definitely true. It's just your Mumcat and Pasca have been having a killer season. Does anyone else have anything to add in NPH versus make a 5 seed out of a Molehill?
It is just but two teams who were both being carried by their twos and fours.
Yeah.
So they matched up incredibly evenly, as you can see from the score. 15-13 is absurdly tight.
Mm-hmm.
No sweeps. Most series going to game 5.
Yeah. That's just a crazy result and a crazy match that it happened even. Now, I'll move us into our final match in Hero. We have at Diamond facing Team at Any Cost. And we're going to ask Gamer Dude. I'll start with you first. How did this match go?
Yeah, so this is actually my first match as team captain. We underwent a few roster changes, so a bit of a fresh look this week. So Laughing Frog jumped in the 5, played early on in the week, and scored a nice 3-0 win against Super Buckles, who's having a pretty rough season. So we got on the right foot, but then NJO responded with a sweep of our top seed, which wasn't great. A bit of a misprep by Easy Exart there. He was expecting Miracle Priest because NJO has been playing that on ladder quite a bit recently. Prepped maybe a little too hard into it and caught the aggro priest from NJO, and that just ended up sweeping him. So bit
Oh,
unlucky there. Uh, and then Turtle, I think, played Pokemon next, gave them the lead in the series for the first time. I came back and beat Wild 9. Uh, Pretty happy with my prep there. I got a lot of good favorables, and then it came down to Diamond and Maskin on the Sunday, and Diamond, who obviously is having a pretty strong hero season, took it down 3-0 to clinch victory for his team. So a little bit upsetting to take my first week as captain as a loss, but I think the team fought hard for the way our season's been going. So I'm happy with
true.
the result.
True. Before I open this to Turtle, I just want to thank DeSharmo for subscribing. All subscriptions are welcome and help cover THL's costs from servers to special events. I'm sure DeSharmo knows all that, but I am repeating to make sure he is sure of it. And thank you, as always, DeSharmo. Now, Turtle, tell me a little bit about your side of the match. How did it feel?
Yeah, it felt really nice to get this win. I believe this week getting this win is clench playoffs for our team. So pretty nice to see that going in with our as you've noticed our 5 seed Super Buckles here. For anyone who doesn't know the story of Super Buckles, he had not played the game before this season. He started playing the game specifically for this season of THL to be on this team. So the fact that he has put up any points on the board for our team is just super impressive. We're really happy with how he's done, even though the 08 score might not show that. But yeah, just again, very close series. Like I know at least in my match versus Pokemon, it just went back and forth. It seemed like both of us had prepped perfectly, just having the exact counter that we needed right when we needed it. So super close series. Really nice fight by Team Any Cost there.
This is, I mean, at Diamond has been a pretty strong team. Getting this close of a loss is definitely nothing to scoff at.
All the games at this point have been super close.
Yes, we also do
I
tend to
think,
choose closer games here.
yeah, I think Diamond, they're not mathematically guaranteed.
Yeah, we'd
Like,
have to like get almost no points next week to
yeah,
not make it.
if you got 0 points and APM Yang and F2L and Hordy on main all got like perfect weeks, then I think you could be
I guess
winning it.
not quite, but hopefully at least one of us can pick up a series win.
Or just like 2 points.
Um, Now let's take a quick look while we're doing that in the standings, because I think that complements what Rebob said perfectly. So we're going to start looking at teal standings, where last we saw NPH had been just firmly standing on top. Um, no breaks this season, and I want to ask Chicken, is that still the case?
Yeah, let's take a look at the standings. And in fact, that is the case with NPH still at the top over their with their win this week. In second, we have the unknown at 125 points. Then right behind them is make a 5 seed out of a molehole at 121. Bit of a drop after that with APM Yang at 106 and Hordeon Main right behind them at 104. So both those teams fighting for that kind of last wildcard spot. And then we have Korak City and Booty Bay Yacht Club tied at 97, who can both still get that last wildcard spot as well. So the those last four spots in Teal Conference are incredibly close and like very competitive.
True. Yeah, it's so insane. Just as a reminder right now, the way qualification goes is the top 3 point earners from each conference make playoffs, and the two highest point earners after that, regardless of conference, who are not in the top three, will make playoffs. So there's quite some competition here. And to tell us about that competition, Turtle, what is happening in Purple Conference?
Yeah, Purple Conference. At the top we've got Golden Wisps, just very clearly ran away with this conference, have not lost a single match, so they're obviously locking first. But then it gets pretty close. Like down here, F2O Black, they still have a very good chance at clinching this wild card spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Team, yeah, down here, teams at any cost, even though they have been doing pretty well recently, don't think they can still make it. So a little bit less tight as we saw that Teal Conference was, all teams being really close together. Purple Conference a little bit more spread out, but certainly Dad Legend and F2O Black still, and even LeBron for that matter, still fighting for that last wild card spot if they do well enough in this last week.
So I want to open this up to everyone. Just a quick question. We all know that NPH, The Unknown, make a 5 seed of the hole, Golden Wisps, APM Yin, and at Diamond at Diamond. At this point, they're virtually guaranteed playoffs. So I won't ask if you think these six teams are making it. I want to ask APM Yang, Hordeon Main, F12 Black, or which two of these teams are making it, or which one out of the other teams is going to hop in for a surprise. And I'm going to start with Rebob this time. Rebob, F2O Black, APM Yang, Hordeon Main. Who makes it in?
Well, I'm biased, so I mean, after Black, they they start with the highest points out of them, so on paper have the best chance. Playing against LeBron this week, who are just about still in some kind of contention, but would need a pretty wild string of results to actually make it through. So may not be giving it their utmost with the mini set. Like they have Nails, who is probably going to be focused on something else this week. Um, then it in the other one, I think it's probably APM Yang. Horde on main are playing versus Korak City, who are going to be doing their utmost to try and sneak in,
Mm-hmm.
which may go somewhat against Horde on main. I could see that being quite a tight week, which would most benefit APM Yang and F2 Black to just kind of sneak on ahead of them.
Okay.
So I'm saying Yang and Black.
Okay. Chicken, what is your thought?
Yeah, I think F2L it would really take a lot for F2L Black to not take one of the wild card spots. Um, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it would have to be like, I mean, Horde on main and APM Yang would have to I mean, it would have to be like an 8-point differential or more for Hordy on main to pass F12 Black, and then APM
Sure.
Yang would also have to do fairly well in their week, and F2L would also have to crash and burn versus LeBron. So I think, yeah, F2L is pretty guaranteed.
And we
Between
don't have we don't have Neji playing this week.
true,
So
yeah. So how
we've got
can
a fifth player.
so how can F2L lose this week, right? Yeah, I mean APM Yang did just get like kind of rolled by Hordy on main, so I think I'm gonna pick Hordy on main for that last wildcard spot.
Nice. Gamer dude, any thoughts here?
Yeah, I've got APM Yang and F2L Black. Like Rebob kind of alluded to, like Hordy on main and Korak are playing each other. I kind of saw this last season in my first season of THL when two teams are fighting for playoffs, they end up splitting the points, which
Yes.
isn't going to help either of them.
Yes.
So I remember last year there was a tight 4-team race, I think, for the last playoff spot, and the series went like 13-11 and 14-10. So
Yeah.
obviously they're Korak City looking for a big week, Hordy on main looking for a big week. I don't think either of them are going to get it, and I think APM Yang's going to hold on to that last spot.
Fair. And last but not least, Turtle, what do you think?
Yeah, I think first spot pretty obviously gonna go to F2O Black. But then that second spot, I think Booty Bay Yacht Club's got this. They're playing Chicken's team. I think they're just gonna 5-0 sweep, get enough points to make that playoff spot.
Nice. Nice. Now
Fold.
let's take a look at BPR for Hero, because I know that's what everyone wants to see, who actually made that top 10. And we did change the algorithm. Marty B has a new algorithm for PPR that compares players to players at their same level. So if you disagree with it, DM Marty. I don't know, just flood his inbox and make him mad at me. That's probably fair. So Gamer Dude, I want to ask you who made top 15 or the honorable mentions. Let's start with the honorable mentions for Hero Series.
Yeah, so our honorable mentions, we have MPV at 6-2. We've got 9 Eyebrows at 5-3. Vino Spumoni at 5-3. 2-Star Mako at 6-2, and Lupin in his rookie season at 8-1. Which sounds wrong. It's 8-0, right?
I think he lost one. I have him as having lost
There's only
one.
been only 8 weeks though,
He
right?
might
So
have
it's got to be
already
7.
played this week.
Okay. So there.
He,
So
he does
ruin the perfect
always.
rookie season.
He always seems to play like before this show,
Yes.
just to screw with it.
Yeah, it's just to mess me up.
Cool.
Whenever I'm
So
opping, that makes it's just harder.
Yeah. This week he got swept by Snipe Hunter already. Another
Wow.
very good 5 seed.
True. And Gamer Dude, who made the top 10?
So our top 10, we've got Robobson at 7-1. We've got Turtle at 6-2. Pasca at 7-1. Always Lethal at 6-1. Your Mum Kid at 7-1. Aqua at 7-1. We got Skirt at 6-2. Snipe Hunter, who we just mentioned, at 8-1. Thalfix at 6-2, and rounding off the list, we got Diamond at 6-1.
Nice.
Yeah.
There were some changes in the
Top spot.
list. I want to ask you, what do you all think about the new algorithm? Is it more fair? Is it still rigged? What is everyone's thoughts? I'll start with Gamer Dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta say, a 5 seed going 8-1 can usually carry a team in a season, from what I've seen. So to have them be completely off the list seems a little bit strange, I think. Obviously, this top 10 list is full of strong players, and I'm sure these players have contributed massively. But I think that's maybe the one standout to me is that Lupin somehow didn't make this list.
Also,
Sure.
because Lupin was the #1 player last week, and now that he has lost one match, he is now not even in the top 10, which does not make a lot of sense to me.
So this is a new algorithm and can take some tuning. So it does have some better features than the others. I can say that much than the old algorithm. But Again, any complaints, any ideas, do message Marty. He's happy to talk more about it. This algorithm tends to take into account who you faced, so winning against good players has a lot more weight, even more than it had before.
Turtle's bumped himself up.
Yeah,
I do
I
agree.
think the biggest standout of that rule being in place is I am that one loss on Rebob's column, so that shot me up into second, even though like I have less match wins, less or more losses than like Pasca, who's under me. So still maybe needs a little bit of work on that formula, but still get a decent look at who's doing well in the Hero Series.
Nice. Well, congratulations to everyone who made PPR. We joke, but really everyone in the top 15 is just amazing. Just the performance we're seeing from some of these players is crazy. To have a higher than 75% win rate in a season is really hard. So, congratulations to everyone here. And shall we move into Legacy? So, a lot happening in Legacy. Just a reminder that for Legacy, the top 4 players in each conference is going to make it. So, to open Legacy, we're going to talk about Gold. Gamer Dude is going to tell us about Clownstone Academy facing the Pod People.
Yeah, so this is actually the matchup of the top 2 teams in Silver Conference. So this matchup incredibly important in terms of which team is going to get that bye, and if the other team is going to be able to accumulate enough points to maybe fight for that 4th bye for the best second place team. So looking at the matchups here, we had Neji, who is 4-4, not 0-8 in Legacy. So nice to see that there, taking down our hat. So pretty big matchup in the one right there. Now we have Based Inc., who is having a strong season, managed to sweep and ruin Starlax's perfect season, handing him their first loss of the season. Diamond maintains his perfect season with a 3-2 victory over Dragon Rider. And then we got Wicked Good in the 4, taking down Corridon 3-1, and rounding it off, as we mentioned at the top of the podcast, Swaybe taking down Dr. Fish, avoiding the sweep and reverse sweeping herself. And then a bit of a fun fact on this, I think we see 4 hunters from the pod people and 3 losses out of those 4. So Hunter a bit sad this week in this matchup, and might have been a strategical play from them that didn't go as they were hoping.
Fair. Chicken, any thoughts on Clownstone Academy versus the Pod People?
Yeah. Wow. 5 or actually 10 shamans brought in this series. Pretty interesting stuff. I think yeah, I mean, shaman's definitely in a pretty versatile spot right now with
Mm-hmm.
there being Quest, Burn, and Bolner Shaman all pretty well in the meta right now. And then you also have like some off meta flex spots like Doomhammer Elemental Shaman is still a deck that kind of serves as a hard counter to some combo focused decks. So I mean, Shaman is super versatile right now.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it also ate a lot of bans. Got banned 6 times, so people were definitely worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Warlock from Clownstone Academy, notably, and ended up winning 3 out of 4 matches. I think, yeah, Warlock's also in a similar, not as much as Shaman, I don't think, but in a similar spot to Shaman, where
Mm-hmm.
you can flex between certain Warlock archetypes like Fatigue Lock to Hand Lock to Owl Lock, and they kind of have different matchups you can hit.
True.
So it kind of has that flexibility as well, but not a lot of druids. I think with the mini set coming released today, I think we're gonna see a lot more druids coming in the future. Maybe maybe a few 10 druid matches to recap next week.
I would not be surprised. Any final thoughts on Clownstone Academy versus the Pod People?
Yeah, just pretty nice win for Clownstone here to seal out that first place in their conference pretty much. So pretty nice to get this win against the second place team.
True. Now, moving on to our second match here, Turtle. Why don't you tell us about Defias facing IDK?
Yeah, two teams that are doing pretty well in the standings. I know Defias is sitting up there in their top four, then IDK is barely outside, just a few points off that top four playoff spot right now. So getting this win for IDK was super important. In the
Mm-hmm.
one seed, Earl losing to Wild 9, and then 2 seed JR losing to Classy Thug. So it was really down.
I think you have it
Or no, yeah,
backwards.
my bad. Yeah, I got it flipped. Yeah, so Earl beating Wild 9, and then JR beating Classy Thug. Got read that wrong. Yeah, and then 3 seed Nebcanuck beating Raptor. Nebcanuck just on a tear this season, doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Jespine beating the Real Allure, and then Mighty Biz going down to Azuma, a strong 5 seed. And I am yeah, this was, as I said earlier, it's a huge win for IDK. Pressure is on for them. Just I think 2 or 3 points off playoff contention. So getting this win here is super big for them. I'm in their team's Discord and they were ecstatic getting the win this week. They're all have been putting in a ton of effort down here at the end of the season, wrapping up to try to secure this playoff spot.
Yeah. Rebob, any thoughts on Defias versus IDK?
No, I think it was pretty necessary for IDK to get the win. They're
Mm-hmm.
still they're still in contention for fourth place, and if the result hadn't gone their way, it would be looking very different for them. So they're keeping their claws in it.
True. Now let's take a look at the standings for Legacy Gold. What is actually going on, Turtle, in terms of general standings?
Yeah, we've got that Clownstone Academy and Pod People that Gabriel talked about. First and second. Pod People though, after getting that loss, and Defias is right on their tail, so that second place spot is kind of up for grabs. And then looking down at fourth and fifth place, Fish, IDK, and even Agent PLEs are all pretty like close in contention. So like if Fish just has an off week next week, either IDK or Agent PLEs could really sweep in there and snag that last spot. So super tight race still in this gold conference.
Mm-hmm. So I'll open this to discussion from all, but I will not ask everyone so we don't take too long. I'll just ask two of you. I'll start with Turtle. Clownstone Academy, Pod People, and Defias seems like they're getting through. Which is going to be the fourth team? Or are we going to have a surprise and one of these isn't making it? What do you think, Turtle?
Yeah. I honestly think maybe a little bit biased because I've been kind of with them through this entire season, but I think IDK's got a pretty good shot at snagging this last spot. Every single one of their team members is just putting in so much work down here at the end of the season, just really putting in the prep time to make sure that they are getting their matches done. And also, I believe Jespine in chat said that he just won his match for IDK today, so that already puts them at a pretty nice chance to pass up Fish here.
Nice.
Who did Jaspin play?
Corridon.
Ah, it wasn't Diamond losing. Damn it.
No.
No.
Diamond's in the 3 now.
Rebob, I will ask you, who do you think is the team that's going to meet with Clownstone Academy, Pod People, and Defias in the playoffs?
Yeah, so IDK have a decent shot, but they are unfortunate enough that they are playing Clownstone Academy in the final week, which isn't the best fixture for them to be ending on.
Mm-hmm.
Fish are playing versus Defias, which could also go kind of badly in their favor. So I think that I think the golden showers are going to sneak in.
Nice.
Um, IDK and Fish might just have a bit of an off week. They don't have the best fixtures to round it off. Agent P will just get a good week against the Stubs and just sneak ahead of the both of them and narrowly get fourth place. That's my prediction.
Okay. Well, I'll keep us moving so we make sure we can talk about everything we have to talk. There's a lot we want to go over for today's match. So we're moving into we're moving in straight into Red Conference. And to tell us about our first Red Conference match, we're going to stick with Rebob. Rebob, tell us what happened with F2L Wide facing Everyone's a Winner.
Absolutely. So F2O White were kind of back to the good ways. Um, I swept Yo Daddy in the 1 seed. Myanodon swept Jordan MG in the 2 seed, which was a big result for Myan. He did lose his match this week 2-3 last night. He's not had, I think, as good a season as he's used to having, but still a fantastic
Mm-hmm.
player, great teammate. Slud lost 2-3 to Illuminator in the 3. Anthal lost 3-1 to Njapel in the 3. And Tino's Pizza, having a wonderful little season, beat Tom Carter 3-2, which is a fantastic result. So wound up winning the week 15-10,
Nice.
kept F2L White nicely on track to hopefully get that fourth buy spot.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed on that one.
Nice. Now I will ask here, Chicken, any thoughts on F2L Wide versus Everyone's a Winner?
Yeah, for F2L White, as Rebob kind of mentioned, their main goal is to get the bye going into the first week of playoffs. So they're kind of looking ahead right now. They haven't really had to worry about being out of a playoff spot at all.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of that, they're pretty secure. But yeah, they are quite close. It looks like it's a pretty tight race
Yes.
for that last buy. I mean, they are ahead. They are currently sitting like fourth overall in terms of points. But yeah, they probably will need another strong week to close out and clinch
Mm-hmm.
uh that buy spot.
Fair. Any final thoughts on F2L Wide versus Everyone's a Winner? Before we move into our final red match of the night. All right. So, Gamer Dude, I think you have a great match for us. We have Just Win facing Muo Hearthstone, and it's a match with almost no points.
Yeah, so the Just Win boys have had an impeccable season, undefeated up to this point. Taking on MUOH Hearthstone, which don't be fooled by their 4-4 record. They actually came into this week claiming 65 out of a possible 69 points in their last 3 weeks. So they were on quite the hot streak. This matchup started off early in the 1 with Justin Time taking on NJO. A nice sweep for Justin, although I think the scoreline doesn't give the matchup credit because he was pretty worried about how his classes lined up into NJO's.
Mm-hmm.
So was pretty happy to start the week off there. MUOH responded with Dragon Ninja sweeping Infinite. A bit of unlucky Q ordering in that matchup as Infinite queued 3 unfavorables and Dragon Ninja won comfortably to tie us off. That brings us to Sunday, where in the first matchup, Wild Rose took down Tavin 3-0. So that put us in a nice, comfortable 8-4 lead with 2 matchups remaining. And then Skirt closed out the match 3-1 against Mojo. And as consolation, Trito took down Pokemon. So another big win for Just Win. Should not clinch them a bye, but I think just about maybe. So a pretty
Yeah,
comfortable position going into the last week of the season for them.
Definitely very comfortable position. Turtle, any thoughts on Just Win versus Mule Hearthstone before I move into the standings?
Yeah, just super strong performance from the Justins to put an end to this Muo Hearthstone this win streak.
Nice. True. That's true. And it's tough. It's really tough to stop a team that's been growing this much. Does anyone want to add anything overall before we look into the standings?
Just when are very much looking like the scariest team
True.
to hit going into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that they just made their team only people named Justin, and somehow they're still just destroying everyone.
It's clearly the best Hearthstone name.
True.
Obviously.
Rebob, what are the standings looking like for Red Conference, and what teams are actually fighting?
Right, so right up at the top, Just Win are on 147. I believe for them to guarantee themselves a bye either through first place or the highest second place points earner, they need 5 points from the week. So Just Win are pretty set to have a bye. After a white are in second on 134.
Mm-hmm.
So the highest second place team across the three conferences, but
Yeah.
still need a pretty good week if we wanted to clinch it. Dropping down a little bit, MUO Hearthstone on 119. Dad Legend on 116, though that is with one win already on the board for them.
Mm-hmm.
Chaos Theory in 112. And then the teams who have a bit less of a shot, everyone's a winner on 106 and IF2L on 104. And then Saranite Pengai are rounding it off, the only mathematically eliminated team on 92.
So, Rebob, I want to ask you. It seems like Just Win and F2L White are making it. What other teams? What are your two calls for teams that are making it?
So I think MUO Hearthstone, they had a crazy streak before Just Win kind of just blotted them out, but they had built up a pretty good amount of momentum. They're already in third place, so I don't see them not making it.
Mm-hmm.
And F2L our bye is quite contingent on getting a pretty good result against Dad Legends. So sorry, Yellow Dart, I think we're going to knock you out. Chaos Theory are going to squeak in the fourth place spot.
Wow, I hear a very happy icicle right now. But I will ask. Let's go with Gamer Dude. Who is making it? Just Win are making it. F2L White. Who are the other two?
Yeah, I think I have to agree with Rebob that MUOH were on quite an impressive streak before they ran into Just Win. So I expect them to keep that up this week, and they are playing SPG, who are eliminated from contention. So, pretty nice to play a team with nothing to play for in the last week. Should
Mm-hmm.
generally help their chances. Chaos Theory and Everyone's a Winner are facing off this week. And then Dad Legend and F2L. I think F2L is going to continue to put up a good fight, given they are fighting for that last bye. So I have to agree again that I think Dad Legend is just going to falter here at the finish line. And in the Chaos Theory versus Everyone's a Winner, I got to give it to Chaos Theory as well. I think they're going to take that matchup, and I think they're going to take the fourth place spot.
Okay. A lot of calls for Chaos Theory. While we move to our final um, final conference in silver, we have our first silver match. And to tell us about this match, we have Super Chicken with quite a surprising result.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it was like a a bit of an upset until until like the week was over, and then I looked at the standings. I was like, oh, the Cooler's like first in our conference. Oh, funny. Uh, so we had Stu playing on Thursday, and he got his win 3-1. And then Hickett, Quaz, and Sharkbait all played on Saturday. Yeah, Sharkbait getting the DQ there because Snipe Hunter was unable to make it to the
Mhm.
match time. But yeah, Hickett took his match 3-0, a pretty clean sweep, and then Quaz was swept right back by Superhero. So yeah, it was a pretty low point week in general.
Yeah.
With 3 sweeps and then 2 3-1s. Kind of similar to what we saw in the Just Win versus MUOH match. But with it being 4 wins to 1 win for the Cooler. And then yeah, I played on I think Sunday during the Super Bowl halftime show.
Nice.
Versus yeah, CBIC. And yeah, ended up getting the win there. Yeah, so it gave a little unfortunate for us on the cult because it does feel like we're kind of hitting our stride a little bit too late in the season. Um, we've been picking up, good amounts of points in the last couple of weeks, but yeah, it does just feel like the season's just, a week or two too short for us specifically.
I want to ask Turtle, any thoughts on this match?
Yeah, just crazy that the Colt was able to beat the Cooler, who had such a great season by this much. Just all their players really showed up, put in work.
Nice. Any final thoughts anyone wants to share about the Colt versus the Cooler before we move into our final legacy match of the night? All right.
No,
Oh, go ahead, Rebob.
I know. I was just saying, I got nothing there. Just very impressive from the cult.
True.
We played the Cooler, and they're pretty formidable.
True.
They're a bit unfortunate on the DQ in the 5 seed there.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, just a reminder for everyone, please don't DQ. We know it happens, but um content definitely appreciates when DQs don't happen. It's a lot better in many ways. But
Yeah.
we're going to move on to our final silver match. We have All Points Matter versus Golden Wisp. Turtle, what happened there?
Yeah, as we can see, Avi got swept by Always Lethal in the one. Mick was able to beat Cheese. MPV was able to beat the Chosen Pie. So the Golden Wisp just 1 through 3 seeds winning really sealed out this. Then the Laughing Frog beat Roadrunner in the 5, and then 2-Star Mako in the 4, beating Foulfix. Pretty big week for the Golden Wisps just to get themselves kind of closer to that playoff contention.
True. I mean, they are the last champions, so or not the last champions. They were the golden team last season, and to see them getting back is definitely a scary sight. Don't you think, Gamer Dude?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure it's gonna be enough. They still do have a 12-point gap to make up to make that playoff spot, but this does keep their chances alive. I also find it interesting. All 5 players in Golden West brought Priest this week, so that's a bit of a anomaly compared to some of the other matchups, and it appears it paid off. So a bit of a interesting bring there from that team.
Yeah, that's true. It's an interesting choice for everyone, literally everyone, to have their priests. So let's take a look at the Silver Conference. Gamer Dude, what is happening there?
Yeah. So going down the list, we've got the Cooler sitting in first place at 129 points. We've got APM in second, 2 points behind at 127. Hearthstone Academy at 121. Hot Zilfs at 119, Golden Wisps at 107, the Colt at 103, and rounding at the bottom, we have Standard THL Degenerates and Dirty Mike and the Boys both tied at 102.
Now, this conference looks different than the other ones because we have a cluster of teams that's quite clearly the 1 through 4th, and then we have the rest. Kind of with the Golden Wisps standing on top with a chance. It's not impossible, but it's unlikely. So instead of asking you if you think there's a chance the team will catch up 12 points, which there is, not saying there isn't, Chicken, I want to ask you all who you think is actually getting that bye. Is it the Cooler, APM, Hearthstone Academy, or the Zilfs? And I'm going to start with Chicken here. Who do you think gets the bye?
Um, I'm gonna say it's probably the Cooler. Even though they did have a bit of a down week last week, I think I think some of that could be chalked up to the DQ a little bit. I mean, like it. Obviously, they only won one match, so they did still lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like they would have lost anyways, but I do think they will bounce back. They're definitely quite a solid team.
Okay.
And I think the better teams generally adapt better to new
True.
metas. So I think they'll have a bit of an advantage against whoever they're playing this week with the new cards.
True. Gamer Dude, any thoughts on the team that makes the top one?
Yeah, I have to agree with the Cooler. APM and Hearthstone Academy are facing off this week. So again, two teams fighting for the same thing. Generally, neither one of them is going to achieve the
Mm-hmm.
necessary amount of points. And the Cooler is playing standard THL Degenerates who are not quite mathematically eliminated, but realistically probably don't stand a chance. So again, some nice matchups there in the final week for them. Hot Zilfs is playing Dirty Mike and the Boys, so maybe could surprise some people there, but I think 10 points is just maybe a bit too much. That even if they did sweep, they still need the Cooler to have a pretty bad week to claim that top spot. So I'm looking at the Cooler to take the Silver Conference.
All right. The balanced conference going for the Cooler here. Any final thoughts on this before we hop into Legacy PPR?
I think this one's pretty much going to stay the standings just as it is.
Nice.
Cooler
Yeah,
at
I
the top.
agree.
These four teams making it through. The bottom four, not.
Fair. Now, Chicken, tell us who actually are our honorable mentions for Legacy PPR?
Yeah, so starting off with our honorable mentions, we have Slad at 5-3. We have Starlax at 6-1. We have JR Juggerlaw at 6-2. Wild 9 at 5-3. And Ron Mexico at 6-2.
Nice. Really strong players here. This is also Marty's algorithm. We will be using the old algorithm for Pro this week. Um, who else got to PPR? Chicken.
So starting from number 10, we have Neb Canuck at 7-1. We have Dragon Ninja at 4-0, being a pretty frequent sub on MUOH. We have Chronic at 6-2, Chewbacca at 6-2, Rebob at 7-1, Desharmo at 8-1, Sebiak 1 at 6-2, Based Ink at 7-1, Skirt Reynolds at 7-1, and Diamond at 8-0.
Nice. Really strong results. I think it's crazy when literally the worst players have a 75% win rate out of the top 10.
Yeah, it seems like the top players in Legacy really seem to be separating themselves from the rest of the players they're against. It seemed a bit more so than when we looked at the hero PPR. It seems like people Maybe Legacy is just a little bit less volatile than
Mm,
Hero, with Conquest being maybe a little bit more consistent in terms of how it plays out. I think maybe LHS lends itself a little bit to one deck kind of high rolling a lineup and sweeping sometimes. So I think maybe that's why we're seeing a bit more, like more cleaner match scores here from some of the top players.
true. Any final thoughts about PPR that anyone wants to share before we hop to a quick ad before we go into our into Pro Series?
No, nothing here. I'm
All
just
right.
I'm just hoping that Diamond somehow slips up, gives me a chance in the crossover.
Nice.
He is absolutely caning it this season.
The tough war between Rebob and Diamond for #1 spot in crossover. Now we did give Rebob a break this week from reading the ad, even though everyone wanted to hear his accent more and more and more. We will have Chicken's amazing read, which he has performed before, but for the second time live for our ad, our Twitch Prime ad. Go ahead, Chicken.
All right. Hey there, Twitch viewers. Have you subscribed to Team Hearth League yet? Then make today the day to be a league yourself and subscribe to our channel. This subscription enables the THL team to help cover the various costs of operating our website, as well as improve the quality of our streams and content to our viewers. If you have Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime, you can sub to the channel for free. Subscribers will get a THL emoticon as well as the lovely THL chat badge. So hit that heart button and keep the notifications on to make sure you can catch our team broadcasting live. We appreciate each and every one of you. Special note to our viewers, check out THL's other social media points of interest. Website is teamhearthleague.com. Follow us on Twitter at THL_HS. Join us on Discord at Team Hearth League. Check out the THL POW podcast for power rankings for all series, wherever you find your podcasts. And the true Hearth legend himself, Saku, continues to post all of our videos on our YouTube channel. Just search Team Hearth League to catch everything previously recorded. You are, of course, watching us on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Team Hearth League, or possibly on our YouTube channel in the future. And for all of you THL fanatics out there, there are THL shows every single most days of the week. You can't go wrong tuning in at any time for some amazing Hearthstone related content. Now back to the good part.
Nice. That was great, Chicken. Getting the hang of it.
Yeah, getting there.
You gotta try and just do it as fast as you possibly can.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was better to make it coherent or just to like speed through it. Maybe I'll try to
No,
just
you gotta do your best impression of like those deep south auctioneers.
yeah, we are trying to get Rebop to bed on time, so I'll definitely give the speed angle the go next time.
Sure. With a southerner accent, just go full on Storage Wars accent on them.
Yeah, that is the classic.
Um, so I'll bring us back to Pro, where we're going to talk first about Black Conference. And to open Black Conference, Rebob has F2L's final match in Pro Conference this season.
Yes. So FTL's final match of the season was against Mancrit's Multiple Wives, and everybody except me got a win. I got swept in the 1 seed by Wild9, who hard countered the ever loving fuck out of me. It was a
Fair.
miserable game. But then Marty B beat Dankestad 3-2. Cusins beat Vampire Night Orc 3-1. Berserk beat Raptor HS 3-2. And Atachi beat Bite Sized AC on stream 3-0. So it was a 16-9 score. which was exactly the kind of result that we were looking for going into this week.
Mm-hmm.
Puts us in exactly the spot we wanted to be in. So overall, cannot complain.
Yeah, a 16 tonight is always an amazing result. Turtle, any thoughts on this match?
Yeah, just what we expected to happen, kind of looking at these two teams, how their season's been going. But yeah, this F2L team just went in, did what they do best, won some hearts on matches.
True.
That's what we do.
Just a really strong showing by F2O. Really, the team has been very solid, and we see it again and again. Anyone wants to share any final comments on F12 versus Mancrick's multiple wives?
Just that F12. Yeah, this was F12's last week, so this amount of points, like it shows 138 here. That is the total amount of points that they will get.
True.
Though that does actually, well, not to talk too much about the standings before we look at them, that does kind of put them pretty comfortably in a playoff spot for Black Conference. Well, mathematically, it guarantees them a spot, but um, gives them a pretty good spot near the top of the standings going into playoffs.
True. True. Now, moving us into our second match, I want to ask Turtle here. Tell us a bit about how your wild friends did against Mr. Smiteside.
Mm, I just found it real quick. Yeah, everyone's a winner. Another Sunday team. Sunday's team known for having wild players just did really well. 18 points, absolutely crazy. They only dropped 2 points possible from that fifth seed Kradidam losing to Vino in game 5. But other than that, just all of them getting their wins, doing really solid. Like 18 points is almost unheard of in THL. That's really good. I'm not 100% sure what the conference is looking like, but with that win, they have to be in very good playoff contention.
Yeah, they're way closer than they've been for a while, actually. Before we look into the standings, I want to ask Gamer Dude if you have any thoughts on everyone's a winner versus Mr. Smiteside.
Yeah, nothing too much. Just a pretty impressive output. Obviously, winning 4 to 5 matchups in a week and then winning 2 games in the loss is just awesome. And especially in what looks to be somewhat of a tight playoff race, every point matters. So a pretty good showing from them this week.
That's true. Rebob, let's take a look at the standings for Black Conference. How is Black Conference looking?
Let's. So, up at the top is F2L with 138 points, but this week is our bye week, as we mentioned, so we will not be getting more than 138 points. So it's very likely that Clowns Reloaded on 130 will get the 8 points necessary to clinch first. However, F2L are guaranteed at least second, and it is pretty much between those two for first and second place. Then everyone's a winner and APM both on 110 points in third and fourth. Then there's a small jump down. Taggers 98, Faction and 96, both still basically in it. As interestingly enough, everyone's a winner play Taggers this week, and APM play Faction. So if Taggers get a 12-point differential or Faction get a 14-point differential in their matches, they can claim it. But anything else would eliminate both Taggers and Faction. Mr. Smiteside on 86, Sheepies on 67, and Mancrip's multiple wives on 64 are all already out.
Hey, some interesting matches here incoming, especially looking at the standings. Given the point difference. I think I'll keep us from speculating too much. I'll just ask Rebob. Do you think Taggers and Faction are able to knock out Everyone's a Winner and APM, or do you think Bone Mashers team and the Wild team stay in?
I mean, it's 12 and 14 point differentials are really hard to do in THL. You need to have a complete implosion for that to happen, like multiple sweeps. And
Yeah.
I think if EAW and APM just play it quite safe, don't bring anything which can be targeted too hard, they really shouldn't be losing it, and EAW and APM should take the third and fourth spots.
Mhm. Now, I'll move us into Pink Conference so we don't end too late. Let's take a look at what's going on there. Our first match of the night is Brushy Tuna versus Popeye's Spicy Chicken. So, Gamer Dude, tell us a bit about what happened in this match.
Yeah, so we have Brushy Tuna here taking down Popeye's spicy chicken sandwich, maintaining their undefeated season. So pretty impressive stuff by them. We see them take the series by a 4-game-to-1 game score as well. So just a pretty good result across the board. So we've got Banter in the one taking down Lambie series 3-1. Just in time, the lone win on the side of Popeyes, taking down our hat 3-2. Ron taking down Anasabe 3-2. Isocles taking down Myanodon 3-2, and Based taking down Mr. Beluga 3-2. So despite the 4-1 game score, every single matchup except one was 3-2. So Popeyes did manage to claim a decent amount of points in what seems like a pretty dominating performance by Brushy Tuna. But again, it's a top team in the league, undefeated. Yeah, I think 11 points in a 4-1 game score loss is nothing to be disappointed about.
Definitely not. There was something funny in our Discord where both Ron and Based were messaging like, "Oh, I already lost. I already lost. Nothing to do. Oh, turns out I won." And literally, both of them had basically conceded their matches at a 2-3, and they said, "Oh, it turns out I had lethal, and I or either they had lethal or their opponent just didn't have lethal." And things worked out. Was just a very weird moment, especially in Ron's case, because he said, "I'm conceding this game," and then he won. No one understood what happened. But,
Classic
Ron
Ron.
is a bit prone to the early tilts,
oh yeah.
a tiny bit.
Um, I want to ask, does anyone have any comments, anything they want to say about this match?
Yeah, even though Popeyes did end up losing, they still got 11 points, which pretty big week for them. They really needed to put up a lot of points to stay in that playoff race, and they did just that. 11 points on a loss is still really good for Popeyes.
True. Yeah, that's a lot of points for Popeyes, and Pink is tight. It's not it's not free in any way, as we will see really soon. So, um, see if Popeyes manages to get there. Now, to look into our other match, Chicken, your team for the boys faced Swagoy, who was in the first position point wise before this week happened.
Yeah, pretty strong week for us after I mean, I guess a pretty disappointing showing the week before. I believe Dabs got the win first, getting a sweep over No Glocko, who I believe had I think Dabs was actually able to beat Face Hunter with Poison Rogue by getting like a 6 attack weapon on turn 3 or something like that. Just just Poison Rogue things. Yeah, just faced some like I think we'd made like a matchup chart for him before the match or something, and it was just all red. But I guess he just didn't care and decided to win it for us. And
Sounds like
then
Dance.
I played my match on stream versus Glee and played probably worse than I have in a very long time. Yeah, pretty embarrassing stuff there. But I mean, credit to Glee, he did play it really well into some pretty unfavorable matchups. But yeah, that was our only loss on the week, and yeah, Shep, Jake, and Darian were able to take wins against their opponents to give us a pretty big point total there, 18 points, and as Turtle mentioned, it is almost unheard of, despite seeing it in our last 3 matches that we've looked at.
True. I want to ask here, Rebob, any thoughts on For the Boys versus Sugoi?
Yeah, I casted Super Chicken versus Clay, and I think I was pretty harsh on. I but besides that, the obviously it's one game. We all have bad games. Sometimes they just get streamed. But besides that, um, it was a pretty big result. Swagoi, considering that the final week is their bye week, they've really needed a better result than this. And while they're technically in second place, as we'll see in the standings in just a second, they're not there by very much, and they're a very real risk of, with only a 7 point showing, actually falling out of the top four completely with all the other teams playing this week.
Yeah, let's hop in to take a look at the standings. Chicken, tell me what is going on, and already give me your opinion on the 4 teams that are going to make out a pink conference.
Yeah, it is. God, it almost could not be closer for Pink Conference with that last playoff spot. So we have Brushy Tuna pretty clearly at the top with 127 points. Then we have Swagoy and For the Boys tied for 113, though Swagoy has yet to take their bye week, so that's as many points as they will get for the season. For the Boys still has 1 week left to play. And then we have Popeyes and NPH tied at 106, who both have matches left to play. Both of them have already taken their bye, so it is dead even between them. And then after that, we have Make Love Not Warcraft at 97, EUNA at 95, No Pros here at 94, and Poem Locked and Loaded at 68. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is just like, I mean, especially between Popeyes and NPH, it just, I mean, it is actually more likely that they both make playoffs and Swagoy does not. I mean, they just need to get like 7 points. I'm not sure how tiebreakers work, but
It's really
is it
complicated.
okay?
The
Yeah,
the
I'm not
the,
sure
the, the
how it would work
first
if they got
the,
7,
fir-
but yeah.
the first tiebreaker is just it's a head to head, and then you kind of hope that that settles it. Beyond that, there's like 3 other ways, and it gets very confusing.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know who has beaten Swagoy between those two teams. But yeah, I think both of them are pretty likely to pass Swagoy anyways, so it shouldn't be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
In, t-
I
in
think,
terms of who is playing who this week, NPH are playing Make Love Not Warcraft. So a good result for No Pros here would pretty much settle it for them. Make Love Not Warcraft unlikely to make it themselves, but by some freak results could potentially get it. Most likely playing spoiler. Popeyes are playing No Pros here. That's the penultimate team on 94. So a good result for Popeyes. They make it guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
And EU over NA are playing Poem Locked and Loaded. So if there are, close results, perhaps EU and EUNA put up something like a 23, they can maybe squeak into fourth place, though it's pretty difficult.
yeah, Pink Conference has been pretty unforgiving
Yeah.
Oh, and for the boys are playing Brushy Tuna, which isn't the best result game for them to end on.
Hmm.
So they'll be hoping they don't get absolutely battered.
Now, let's take a look at the PPR. Um, and Turtle, tell us who are the honorable mentions for Pro?
Yeah, first up we've got Dabs at 5'2", always just in time, also 5'2". Kaylee's Luna, also 5'2", and then German Shep, again 5'2". Oh, and a Pocket Train 4'2" as well as our final honorable mention.
And who actually broke into top 10?
Yeah, so top 10, starting off our list, we've got Glee at 8-0. Really strong season from him. Then coming in second, we've got Pescoa at 6-1. Then we've got McBannerface 6-1. Super Chicken, one of our commentators here, 6-1. Jespine 6-1. Memnart 6-1. Nails 6-1. ABC 6-2. E Jimmy 5-0. PWE 5-2. Really strong players up here in our pro conference.
Yeah, really strong results here. And I want to congratulate all players who made it. Pro is such a stacked series. To be in top 10 or top 15 players in Pro right now, we have multiple GMs in this list.
We have like a world's player as well with McBannerface.
Yeah, it's not normal to just see yourself doing this well. Congratulations if you're here. And if you're not, also congratulations if you're playing Pro and just doing your job. I hope you're happy. But that said, I will move us back to our main screen so we don't burst our time by too much. Um, this is the moment where I want to thank everyone here for being in the show tonight. A very special thanks to Super Chicken, Rebobson, Gamerdude, and Turtle. I will do a super fast question. So I just want you to name one card, no explanation, just what is your favorite card from a Nixi's Lair. And one more time, you can say any goodbye words you would like. Thank you for being here so much. Chicken, thank you for being here as every week. Always great having you. One card you love about a Nixi's Lair and any checkout words.
Gotta be Raid Boss Onyxia. Played it a bunch today. And yeah, it's just awesome. The card, I mean, thematically the card's awesome. You know, like as it like it's like a raid boss and you have to kill like its little minions to deal damage to it. Like kind of seems like an actual WoW raid in in Hearthstone, which is super cool. So yeah, that's my card.
Nice. Um, and now, Gamer Dude, thank you so much for being here tonight. Awesome having you for the first time in Hearthcenter. What is your favorite card from Onyxia's Lair?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to be here. My favorite card I think is got to be Dragonbane Shot, big hunter player, so I think that card will slot in nicely to Quest Hunter.
Nice. Um, Now, I want to thank, very special thanks to Turtle for being here tonight. Turtle, thank you for your first Heart Center appearance. I hope you had a lot of fun. I know you will be live as soon as we end, so please go watch Turtle. I would raid, but I'm having some technical difficulties that I don't think I can do it here. But everyone should go watch Turtle as soon as this is over. Turtle, tell me, favorite card from a Nixis layer?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Smokescreen. Just super expensive rogue spell, drawn a bunch of death rattles. You can get some crazy outcomes. So I'm just really
Nice.
excited to see what fun shenanigans we can get up with that card. And also, yeah, as he said, my Twitch channel is Turtle the Mist Player. If anyone wants to hop on over, we've got 2 THL players playing in their Tespa match, so super exciting. And I am
Nice.
actually live right now.
Nice. And finally, Rebob. By the way, Turtle, if you want to post a link, feel free to post it in chat. Rebob, I want to ask you pretty quickly here your favorite card, and thank you one more time for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's got to be Kazakhstan. I've already crafted it in gold.
Oh, it's so
It's
much fun.
It's so stupid. It's glorious.
Yes. It's like
Just,
the
just
greediest
jamming it,
thing.
just jamming it in Miracle Priest, playing it on turn 6, playing a bunch of Wax Rages. It's glorious. Play it.
Nice. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Go watch Turtle stream. He's going to be playing, I believe it is his test match there. So that's going to start really soon.
Owl versus PWE will be playing on stream.
Nice. Oh, that's a lot of fun. That's going to be a great match. I want to thank you all for being here with me. And for our viewers, Tavern Talk is, I believe, coming in tomorrow. And then we are going to have a lot more shows this week. There are going to be matches. They're going to be wild. There's going to be Wild and Out on Thursday. So if you would like to play on stream, post on stream requests. Saku is always looking for matches over there. So we'll try to find you a time slot so you can play on stream. That said, have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you all later.
Good night.
Bye.
Want to know how to create